Welcome to the Take a Mulligan podcast with your hosts, Brian and Kenny Mulligan. We hope to encourage you not to quit and keep going. If you're at that place where you just want to stop and give up, don't. Second chances can happen. Try again and take a mulligan.
Well, hey, welcome back to the Take a Mulligan podcast. We are so glad you guys are all joining with us today. And, we have been talking about issues like on fitness and faith and family and friends, because that's our little tagline. And today we're going to focus in a little bit more on the health and on fitness. And so Brian and I have been involved in a health journey, I would say now for actually both of us about 8 years.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty cool and very educational. And I think there's a lot of confusion out there when it comes to health. And I think a lot more people are getting aware of things. And Sato, what's your take on that, Brian? Do you feel like people are just all of a sudden, it's almost like people are waking up saying, wait a minute, like we just can't accept things the way they are, can we?
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, I think also for us, like you said, for about 8 years, I mean, I didn't really think too much about a lot of the stuff that I'm thinking about now. And even the last couple of years, you could tell that things are just changing. I think health, nutrition, fitness is always a hot topic. I think it's always something that's being talked about because there's so many different changes to the industry. And obviously it's a very big topic right now while, there's a big push to make America healthy again, which I think is a wonderful thing and something that we should all be kind of behind. The stats are kind of staggering when you look at it. We are a very unhealthy America. I know you and I are both pretty good at trying to learn new things and find out information from good sources. And I've just been amazed at some of the things that I've learned even within the last year about, the status of our health in this nation and the food we eat and just how unhealthy it is compared to other countries. And again, like you said, a lot of that's becoming more aware to a lot of people now. And I think we have access to, legitimate sources that are finding this stuff out and revealing some of this stuff that we weren't quite aware of before. So It's a great topic to talk about. Last week we talked about, new health journeys for the new year and habits. And, the number one typical resolutions are all about health, losing weight, getting getting healthy, exercising, eating better, all those kinds of things. So it's a great topic to start on.
Yeah,
So I think on our journey, I know we've mentioned this a couple times in some of our podcasts, but Ken, you kind of introduced me to the company that we work with, which is ID Life. We've kind of talked a little bit about it, but we've never really gone into detail about the company, and spent an episode talking about the company and the products and why we use it, why we love it, and why we want to share the information around. So I think today was a good reason to kind of get into that a little bit and talk a little bit more deep into ID Life and what is ID Life, because you guys hear us talk about it and we really haven't shared too much about it. So
Yeah.
You kind of started out and we know you had a friend that kind of brought it to your attention. So when you started, like what was the initial point of what started you on this journey with this company and then into your new health?
Well, let me before I get into the main product that I love with iLife, let's just backtrack because you mentioned some stats, and let me throw out some stats. So, 75% of Americans are eating toxic or processed foods, and
Terrible.
that's crazy in itself. And I know there's a lot more awareness coming out about that, saying, "Wait a minute, why are you eating processed foods? Like, why are we eating these things?" Right?
Mhm.
I mean, like I don't know, somebody said the average Twinkie or something has 17 ingredients. It's like, it's just, these are all processed foods. They're a lot of them aren't even food in there. There's all kinds of other stuff. You have 74% of Americans have unwanted weight. That's huge. 75% of Americans have inadequate hydration. I mean, basically, simply, we're just not drinking enough water throughout the day. And then you have 75% of Americans are sleep deprived. And so, I mean, we get into how many medications people are on for all that stuff. And then tied into that, 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, which ties into health and nutrition, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just to some ways, because we're obviously, I think one of the philosophies out there is, well, just costs money to eat healthy. And it does, right? I mean, it does. There's no doubt about it. It costs healthy if you're going to be eating or taking supplements, or if you're going to be taking products that are better for your health than just going and grab a soda or whatever else. So
Well,
So
yeah, I think we, just to hit on that real quick, we live in a fast environment. I mean, today is different than even 5 years ago. You
yeah,
know, 5 years ago, well, maybe I should go back a little bit further. 10 years ago, I mean, there wasn't that many Starbucks around that everybody was drinking a Starbucks every morning. They would go and get their $6, coffee filled with all kinds of stuff. We didn't have, all these different fast food places keep popping up. We're in a very fast paced society. You got to bring kids to different events. You're rushing home from work. Nobody has time to cook and eat. You got two parents that are working. So, you're both rushing home. You're trying to get something to eat. Now it's a quick night. So what do people do? They're going to run and grab something. They're going to go through a drive-through window. They're going to get something takeout. They're going to do something quick. They're going to throw frozen, nuggets into the oven because it's quick for their kids. It's
yeah,
all those little things that I think have added up and definitely have added up within the last, definitely probably 20 to 30 years, but progressed a lot in the last 5 to 10, I would think.
yeah.
And with that, you have over 70% of the population of our country is considered overweight.
Oh yes, I mean, and
So
yeah,
that's a huge, I mean, all the stats you just threw out are 75 almost percent on all those different things and those
yeah,
different factors. So it's definitely a conversation that should be being had a lot more often, I think. And it's definitely something that is still missing a lot in the education of our kids in the school setting. How often are kids,
yeah.
they have their health class, that's all fine. But has the curriculum really changed? I mean, I don't know because my kids have, kind of been out of some of that for a while, years longer, and even it's been longer since we've been in health class. But I don't know if the health curriculum has changed much. Are they talking about like how to eat healthier or how to make healthier choices, or they just talk about the same stuff they talked about 20 years ago?
I still think, I mean, first of all, we still go off that same food pyramid that has caused this to begin with, right?
Yeah.
That we all learned back in school. But
Well, now
I
they've
think,
changed it though, because now they've added cereal to the bottom of it. Sugary
yeah, which
cereal is
is
actually on the food pyramid. So
stupid.
something's a little wrong with that one, I think.
Which, hey, before we go on some of this, I mean, it's the food ourselves. Like, I think this is why people are talking about it more because we're hearing some legitimate sources of news and stuff that have come out with things saying, wait a second, the products that these companies are producing different products for the United States versus
Yeah.
other countries in the world. And that's becoming well known. It's like, wait a
Mhm.
minute, the Fruit Loops we're eating in America is more toxic for me than the Fruit Loops they're eating in England. Yes. Because a lot of the ingredients aren't outlawed here in the United States. And
Right.
so they're throwing them into foods. Why? Because bottom line is it's cheaper. And
Yeah.
so they're willing to sacrifice our health in order to save money or to make more money, however they're doing it. And we're the victims of it, because we eat these things. So I think what I continue to find when I talk to people about health and nutrition is most people I think really believe that we try to do our best. So
Hmm.
like, well, I try to eat healthy. So I eat a salad, a couple nights a week, and maybe fish once in a while here. So overall, we have this mindset that what we're eating, first of all, is healthy for us, okay, and second of all, that we're getting the right nutrition for what our bodies actually need. And I guess what I'm learning more and more is those are two very poor assumptions
Yeah.
because everybody talks about how many calories you're taking in. Like, I mean, that's the big thing. They go to Weight Watch or so. How many calories you got? How many calories you got? And nobody's talking about, well, how many micronutrients or what micronutrients does
Hmm.
your body need each and every single day? I've never heard anybody say that. Like, literally outside
Yeah.
of with our company, it's like, wow, because our body needs certain micronutrients every single day, and if it's not getting those, it's undernourished.
Hmm.
Whether you've had a cheeseburger, a steak, whether you had eggs and bacon for breakfast, whatever, having all those food doesn't mean your body is getting the right nutrition. All it means is you're eating, and maybe you're eating a little bit healthier than the person on your left, or the person on your right, but we're still not getting what our bodies needs. And I think, you asked about the product I got onto that like blew me away was vitamins. I didn't know vitamins were important. I really thought that same mindset. Hey, as long as I try to eat healthy, I'm doing okay, having no idea that I'm missing so much. And so when I first took now with ID Life, I think one of the best things I love is our free health assessment, which literally anybody can take. It'll tell you exactly what micronutrients you're missing out of your diet. and you'll get a free health report. I mean, you don't have to buy anything from ID Life. You could just get a free health report and say, okay, this is what I need to be doing. This is what I'm missing. But what the beauty of it is it actually then creates your own vitamin line, which is what your body is missing in the micronutrients. And now you can have them. And I just think that's mind boggling, because I think a lot of people still like, well, I take a multivitamin. And it's like, yeah, but that's no different than trying to eat a balanced diet, because one vitamin for 7 billion people on the planet cannot possibly meet everybody's micronutrients needs for the day, right? So what I really love about, when you take the assessment, it will then produce for you your own line of vitamin, and then you can still make it very personal and say, well, you know what, they're recommending, here's some of the basics they're recommending. So if I start there, it's a great place to start. And then I could add in ones where I'm focusing on. And I know I shared this before on the, podcast, I focused on MS because that's what I was struggling with. So guess what? The extra nutrients I'm going to take are for MS. And then our dad had Alzheimer's. So the other nutrients I want to take that are again, there's a peer review studies and everything within the assessment that'll talk about these nutrients have been found to help in Alzheimer's. Now, is it a cure? No, but guess what? I want to give my body a fighting chance. So I'm going to take those vitamins too. So you just keep making it more personal. And so now I think, wow, man, what do I take? Like 15 vitamins a day of the different ones in my vitamin line. And so I'm thinking like, okay, so all that nutrients I'm taking, and I still try to eat healthy every day, right? I'm missing that much every single day from my diet, because I'm just not, you can't get enough from the nutrients from the foods we're eating. So I don't know, what's your take on the assessment and stuff? But
Well, here's what I love about it is one is, there's a lot of companies out there that are doing a pretty good job as far as the quality of what they make. There's a lot of garbage out there. And that's the sad part is most people, when they go and they say, well, I better take some vitamins. You have no idea what you do or don't need. You're guessing. You say, okay, I'm over 50, so I'm going to take the Centrum over 55, vitamin off the shelf, or I'm going to just take a multivitamin. And the problem with that is there's a lot of things going on there. One is the multivitamin has a whole bunch of stuff in it, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because we have a lot of the stuff that we take also through ID Life. There's lots of different components in one pill. But the difference is a lot of things. One is the analogy we like to give is, if a 50-year-old male who runs marathons goes to CVS or any other unnamed store, we'll say, and tries to pick up a multivitamin or vitamin bottle off the shelf. He's 55, has no medical conditions whatsoever, healthy as anything, runs marathons. And he's standing there looking at the shelf next to a 55-year-old male who is 200 pounds overweight and has 5 different comorbidity medical conditions. And they're both grabbing the same bottle. It doesn't make any sense. They're two totally different people with two totally different needs, yet they're going to grab the same bottle, go home and start taking vitamins, thinking it's going to do something to their body for their health. So that's the one thing that's such a misnomer for a lot of people who are looking for vitamins. And I talk to people all the time, talk to my patients almost every day about this kind of stuff. Some people are just, I don't need vitamins. Other people are, well, I don't know really what to take, so I just take a multivitamin. The other beauty of ID Life and what they've done with all the research is they've also found out the chronobiology, which is the time of day that the nutrients are processed in your body or absorbed better in your body. So if you're grabbing that multivitamin, you're taking them all in the morning, you have no idea, and I have no idea which one of them are actually going to get processed and give you a benefit versus the ones that are going to have to get expelled out of your body because they're not able to handle that nutrient at that time of the day. And then the other thing is there's a lot of fillers, there's a lot of garbage and a lot of products out there. So, you have to be very careful with what you're looking for when it comes to the vitamins that are out there on the shelves. And like I said, there's a lot of companies that do a pretty good job as far as the quality of the vitamin they offer, but they're not doing the assessment tool. They're not talking about time of day that you're taking it. So they're missing a lot of pieces here. The thing that I love about it too is, I have a lot of patients that have a lot of medications, and every time I talk to them, I tell them, okay, well, here's the thing. You're on 5 different medications. You have no idea what nutrients or vitamins in your body are getting depleted because of those medications. Chances are you're getting depleted of something, at least a few things. And if you don't know, and the doctor may not really know, how are you going to know that you need to replenish those? So I had one woman, she took the assessment. She was on like, 5 or 6 different medications. And when we looked at the assessment together, there was 4 nutrients that they were recommending her take. And every one of those 4, the reason why they wanted her to take that was because of the medication she was on that was depleting her.
Wow.
So our assessment tool can recognize that. So it really finds out what you do and don't need and blocks the stuff you don't and adds on what they recommend based on the input you give it. So it's so comprehensive. And like I said, everything's all natural from what they make. So there's no garbage, there's no fillers in there, there's nothing that's unhealthy to your body that can't be absorbed. So that's why it's such an effective means of getting a vitamin.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you talk about the medication. So, I was looking up stats here. So 88.6% of adults in this past year have been on some kind of pharmaceutical drugs in that past year. That's a huge amount. Okay, and like you said, there's many people who are on multiple medications, and knowing that your body is getting the right nutrients where it may be depleted from those nutrients because of those medications, that's huge.
Yeah.
But I also love the fact that we block,
Mhm.
because I mean, we've heard stories where people are, I'll give you an example. I was talking to somebody recently, and they were on some medications. They had just had some surgery, and it blocked it. And I asked them, did they redo the assessment? And they're like, oh no, I did it. I said, oh my goodness, you got to go back and redo the assessment. So we did it right there. And one of the nutrients he was taking, our previous surgery, before surgery, was now blocked because of the new meds he's on. And I was like, oh my God, you got to stop this now, because I don't know what it's going to cause. I said, but ID Life does. I said, that's what's so great about the assessment. They're going to block something that you shouldn't be taking because you're on some kind of medication. Now, 2 months later, 3 months later, when they go off his medications for the surgery, you retake the assessment, and now it may put it back on. But I just love the fact that we protect people so well.
Yeah.
That just boggles my mind.
And let's go back to the assessment for a second just to explain. So ID Life is basically everything is online. It's an online company, online store. You order things online, just like today's e-commerce world that we're living in. Everything's online. So what you do is there's a link that you go and take the assessment online, and it's probably about maybe 10 minutes to go through it, depending on what kind of stuff you need to input. And it asks you different questions about where you live and how much sunlight you get and how many fruits and vegetables you eat, just to kind of get an understanding of what your body's needs are. It even asks about what region of the country you live in, because that can have an impact on what nutrients you need as well. So it's a very comprehensive assessment tool. And then, like I said, you're going to input any medications that you're taking. It asks for that. And it also asks for any medical history or medical issues you have or your family has. Like Kenny mentioned, our dad had Alzheimer's. My mom had osteoporosis. My dad also had prostate cancer. So you can put those items in there, and then it's going to recommend if there's some kind of nutrient that will help your body, again, not prevent getting a disease or cure any kind of disease, but at least be able to give you nutrients to help combat maybe the onset of something or the intensity of something that might be coming your way based on your family history. So at the end of the whole assessment, it spits out a score, your health score, and gives you a whole health report, like Kenny said. And then what's nice about it is that it's listing the vitamins that they're recommending, and they're listing them based off of, here's what we recommend you take in the morning, here's what we recommend you take in the evening, and that's again based off of that chronobiology where certain nutrients are absorbed better certain times a day. And then you can pick and choose whatever you want. So it's very customizable. You can find a price point that works better for you. You can trust the whole system and take everything they ask you to take, or you can change it throughout, the months that you're doing it and taking it. The thing we would recommend for anybody that is interested is you really should give your body some time to be on it, to be taking it.
Yeah.
Because even for us personally, we're 10 years apart, but, when I started taking it about 8 years ago, so, early 40s, for 40 years, I probably didn't have the right nutrients in my body that I needed on a regular basis. So if all of a sudden I'm starting to take those nutrients now, my body's probably going to take some time for it to react to what it now has to be able to use throughout the day. So you may not notice much if you're just taking it for, a couple of weeks. Everybody wants a quick reaction to everything. Even a couple of months, you may have to be on, taking the vitamins regularly. And honestly, I can't imagine ever not taking them now for the rest of my life because I love the benefit that I get from them. So if you look at a short term of like, 3, 4, 5 months taking them, that's where you're really going to notice what your body's capable of doing now that it has the nutrients that it needed all this time.
Yeah, I still share a story where, I felt the difference right away in my body taking the nutrients. But I remember we were just starting out with the company, so you started taking vitamins, and I don't know if your order didn't come in on time or something, so you missed a few weeks, and then you were like, oh my goodness, that's what I noticed it when I wasn't taking it. Like you're taking it for a while, and then you'd stop just because of orders. So yeah, I tell people all the time, like, because usually people are struggling with something when they want to go on nutrition, and we're so used to pharmaceutical drugs that I'm going to feel better by the end of the week, or immediately, or minus the side effects from all those medications.
Yeah.
But I tell people, try for 6 months. I mean, commit to something for 6 months, and most people that could be well under $100 really for some of the basics.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, go with the basics that ID Life recommends. But then, so we're going to recommend it 3 categories. One is your basics, and then there's advanced, and then there's premium. And the advanced are usually ones that are dealing with certain issues that you had mentioned during your assessment. And so all you have to do, and this is what I love about the assessment, is because you just click on why did they recommend this one?
Mm-hmm.
And now you're going to get the reason why. And then you're going to get the peer review studies that you could go and do more research if you want to. And what I love about it is, I run into people all the time, and they're like, well, I do my research on my vitamin. And that's great. That's great if you got all the time to do all the research in the world. But we have over 10,000 peer review studies within the assessment. I don't know anybody, even a small, let's take a small health and nutrition place where a team of nutritionists are reading 10,000 peer review studies and are able to compile that in order to make the best recommendations. Where ID Life, I mean, our assessment was 16 years in the making, and now it's automatic where we just keep adding more and more and more peer review studies, and it's compiling all that kind of stuff against what you just put in the assessment. So the recommendations are solid for what your body's lacking, or again, what it needs to block, because it will block certain nutrients that you shouldn't be taking if you're on certain medications. So it's just amazing. There's nobody out there that even comes close to the assessment that we have.
Yeah, I think what's good too is, going back to just vitamins in general. Grew up taking Flintstones and kids vitamins and stuff. And when I got married, I guess I don't really think I took many vitamins like as a teenager. Definitely took them because I liked the taste of the Flintstones ones when I was growing up. But I don't think I took many vitamins through like high school age and stuff, even in early college. I remember so vividly, I took a nutrition class in college and undergrad. And I remember so specifically, the teacher at that time basically told us, she's like, if you eat healthy, you don't need
You don't need
vitamins. They're
vitamins.
not necessary. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. You're the teacher, you know more than me. And I kind of looked at that and thought, well, I like fruits and vegetables. I don't eat terrible all the time. It's not like I'm running through McDonald's like 5 times a day or anything. I do okay. And I guess that's an okay thing to live by. So I didn't think much more about it. Then when I got married, I think, we probably got a multivitamin for a while, took it here and there, but never really consistent. So when you introduced ID Life to me, it was like kind of shocking, to one thing, talk about vitamins again,
Yeah.
which is something I hadn't thought about in probably over 25 years or 20 years, maybe. And then to also think about like, well, I don't want to spend money on vitamins. Like I don't spend any money on vitamins. So why do I
Yeah.
want to start spending money on it now? And then it hit me that I thought, you know what? We got one body. We got to take care of it.
Yeah.
And if I can invest that in my health and keep myself healthier, well, that's a good investment because one, I may not need to see the doctor as often or have medical conditions as often if my body is naturally staying healthier. So that's the way I looked at it. And I think a lot of people do have to have a different perspective. Everybody's financial situation is different. Everybody's perspective is different. But I think, approaching it with the idea of, if I'm going to spend X number of dollars on 5 medications a month and 4 trips to the doctor, what if I spent money on vitamins that was healthier, that was what my body actually needs, and I don't have as many trips to the doctor? Maybe I can get off one of these medications because now my body doesn't need it anymore. And
Yeah.
that happens. I mean, I'm saying this, but these are actual stories of people that have had this impact just from,
Yeah.
again, their body is getting what the body needed.
Yeah.
The analogy I'll give to a lot of patients again is, you can put a bad gas in your car and the car's still going to run, but it's not going to run optimally. So you can get nutrition into your body, but if it's not the right nutrition, it's not going to run optimally. And that's kind of what the difference is that we felt. And I definitely felt that. I would probably say, again, honestly, the biggest difference I noticed from taking the nutrition on a regular basis, I haven't really been sick in about 8 years. I mean, we went through COVID and all that kind of stuff. I used to get, and I was, I'm very pretty healthy for the most part, but I would get probably 2 really bad colds that would last for, weeks on end with congestion and stuff in the winter. Pretty much every winter, I knew to expect that. And I didn't even realize it wasn't happening probably the first 2 years I was taking the vitamins. I went through the winter. I was like, I haven't really been sick at all. I haven't even got a cold. And that was the biggest thing I noticed. So for me, I was like, you know what? That's worth it enough. If I don't get sick
Yeah.
and I'm taking these vitamins, and maybe the vitamins that's the only thing that was different for me, is if I'm not getting sick just by taking vitamins, that's totally worth it to me. And, we know your story is even greater than that one.
No, but I mean, it's so true that like we don't realize when we're just healthy, because a lot of times, like if we're
Yeah.
not getting sick, But I watch so many people that it's one cold after another cold, one fever after another flu. Oh, I got the flu again. Oh, I got this again. Oh, I've got this
Yeah.
again. And I sit back and like, wow, like I just, it's not like you don't get sick, but it's just like it is definitely nowhere near what so many people are dealing with. And go back to that money thing though. One of the analogies I use when I talk with people, when they go, wow, vitamins are a little expensive. Like, how much do you spend on your car every month? Right? I mean, your car, but most people are spending 400 or 500 bucks a month on a car payment. And then
Mhm.
they got, the gasoline. I get that. That's what keeps the engine going and all that kind of stuff. But it gets you from here to there. Most people are spending 100, 200 bucks a month on insurance just in case, right? That your car, gets an accident or whatever. And like, so we don't hesitate to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a vehicle that
Mhm.
gets us from here to there. And in 5 years, let's say, I mean, we keep our cars forever, but let's even say 15 years, right? You're going to get rid of that car and you're going to get another one. But we only got the one body. And I know you hit on that, Brian. Like,
Yeah.
we only have one body. Like, that's it. And once it's gone, it's gone. And once it starts to lose its health, it's hard to get it back again.
Yeah.
I think one of the amazing thing though is that the amount of people we see coming off of medications and stuff, again, their doctors are seeing their numbers drop. And so, someone who's, pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetic, and now their doctors are, well, we can take you off the meds because all your numbers are coming in line. And it's because they've lost some weight. They've been getting the right nutrition. And you talk about the money they're saving, the time they're saving, the energy they're saving. It's just amazing. Absolutely amazing when you watch people get healthy.
And the same applies for, high blood pressure, people in hypertension,
Oh yeah.
cholesterol. Again, if you have the right
Thyroid
nutrition in your
issues.
body, yeah, it can really change your internal body chemistry, which is exactly what they're intended to do, because that's why we need vitamins and minerals in our systems. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you don't have high blood pressure and you can come off the medication, or your cholesterol has lowered on its own just because of the nutrients you're taking in now. So you don't need that medication. If we could get off of medications, I think we'd actually be a lot healthier, country for, as a result. I'm not knocking medications. They have their purpose, but you look at the side effects of all of them, and, it's not healthy for your body just based on the side effects alone. So if we could overcome that, or not need that at times, or push that off, or come off them for a while because our bodies are naturally healthier, that's
Yeah.
always going to be the better option.
And again, from natural ingredients as opposed to synthetic drugs, right? I
Right.
mean, these are created in a lab, and the vitamins that we use are natural ingredients. They are we test what I love about it is, we test every ingredient 3 times. So all the raw products that we're getting these nutrients from are tested 2 times outside ID Life, and then when they come in ID Life, they're tested again, and that's just mind-boggling. And if any one of them fails, it's sent back, and
Yeah.
we find new raw ingredients because, or we'll say nope, but these aren't good enough for us because it's such a high standard. And I think one of the things I thought of when people are like they start taking ID nutrition, and it's like, man, I'm feeling good. It's like I've taken vitamins all my life and I've never felt this good. Why is that? It's like, well, maybe because for the first time you're getting real vitamins instead of the stuff that, because so many vitamins out there are filled with fillers. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's yeah, I would go a day without my nutrition, my ID nutrition. It's
Well,
amazing.
I think it goes back to the company too, and we didn't really dive into the company too much. So, the company's based out of Frisco, Texas. Its founder, Logan Stout, he settles for nothing but top.
Yeah,
He's not looking for second best; he's looking for best. So, what's nice is they're always adjusting the ingredients to what's best out there. They've adjusted a lot of the nutrients in the vitamins themselves as well, based on other research they've found, and if they have a better quality of that nutrient or something that combines better in this vitamin. These are the things that they're going to put in it because they want to have the best option available for, the people that are taking it.
yeah. So I highly recommend everybody's list out there. Go on, take the assessment. To take it on Brian's site or my site, and at least get a free health score, get some analysis of what's going on with your health. And again, invest in yourself for a few months, and
Yeah.
and see what's going to happen.
And
So
there's a lot
Brian,
of
what?
people that, oh, I'm sorry. There's a
No,
lot
go
of
finish
people
up.
out there that, are very well versed in vitamins and nutrition. I mean, I have, I'm sure you've run into a lot of people too, Ken, that are, they're already spending hundreds of dollars a
Yeah,
month on vitamins. That's not even a thought to them to do that. But the stuff that they're taking may not even be doing anything for them.
yeah.
I had one patient who's been doing hundreds of dollars for years, and she's still looking for something to help her. So
Wow.
obviously, what she's taking is not effective enough. Now, I have no idea if it's the quality of what she's taking. I have no idea if it's what she's taking. Again, maybe some stuff needs to be taken, maybe some stuff doesn't need to be taken, but she doesn't have any barometer on that to figure that out. You go to the doctor and they say, well, I want you to take this or that. How many people are taking something because, well, my friend told me I should start taking vitamin D. And my doctor said I should start taking vitamin K because it's a good thing to take. And no doubt some of these things are good things to take, but without having the true knowledge of should you take this or that, or should you not take this or that, you really don't know. So having all of that knowledge is really what the main thing is.
Yeah,
And that's what's really going to give you the best benefit. So people that are doing a lot of money on vitamins already, we'll tell them a lot of times, listen, take the assessment's free. Just take it. Take the
and
whole
prepare.
list of everything they're telling you to take, because you can print out the entire list of every nutrient that you're taking down to the micrograms of what's in there, compare it to what you're already taking, and then you can make a decision whether you're getting enough, not enough, whether it's cheaper or not cheaper.
Yeah,
And then you can make a much better informed decision
yeah.
then.
And you hit on the idea too, the amount. Like a lot of times, probably somebody say, well, you need to take vitamin D, but how much? Well, you should be taking
Mhm.
vitamin B. Well, how much?
Yeah.
And if you have, we even got into it, but we test with the DNA as well, which bumps up your nutrition a whole nother level. But if you have MTHFR, you can't just take a simple folate. It's a lot more complicated than that. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, I get amazed the nutrition. One of the things we haven't talked about though with the nutrition, what I love is our packaging.
Oh, right.
I ran into somebody the other day and they were like, oh my goodness, I got to do this because I have all these big, huge bottles under the sink. And then every week I put my vitamins in each of those little pill bottles to know I got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And ours come in little packets for your morning vitamins, your evening vitamins, has your name on it. It tells you it's morning, it tells you it's evening, and it's all in a big roll. And so, we just went away for where we got for 5 days. So guess what? I unrolled 5 days worth of nutrition, threw it in my suitcase, and boom, you're ready to go for your trip. Although we've learned always take an extra day or two just in case, because I never want to miss a day of nutrition. If a flight gets canceled or something, you're ready to go. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
it's,
amazing
it's
the
a it's a
simplicity.
30-day supply that comes to your house, and it's in that roll that Kenny mentioned, and
Yeah,
morning and evening. That's it. It's that easy.
yeah. And the amount of money that people are spending on these huge bottles,
Hmm.
multiple bottles, multiple bottles, multiple bottles. And, and if you go into a nutritionalist, my guess is you're spending over $500, if not more. I mean, we have friends that have spent $1,000 or more going to nutritionalists to figure out what you exactly need. And ID Life put it in the hands of everybody for a very reasonable cost. It's just pretty amazing.
Yeah, another example, if you go to a health store, you're going to think, okay, well, their products are probably a little bit better. Maybe, maybe not. They might not be any better than going to a pharmacy and finding something, or a Walmart or somewhere else. You really have to do some research to figure that out. But you're also walking in there with the assumption that, well, it's a health food store, so they're going to know better. Well, guess what? The guy behind the counter, he doesn't know who you are. He doesn't know anything about
Yeah.
your medical history. He doesn't know how many medications you're taking. And they're never going to
Yeah.
ask that, because even if
No.
they ask that, it's irrelevant to them, because they don't know what to do with that information
Yeah.
you're giving them.
And
So
what
they're
you
going
eat every
to,
day.
right. And it's right. So they're going to sell you, guess what? Whatever the hot topic is that they're trying to sell and get off the shelves
Yeah.
that month, they're definitely going to push that one for sure. That's
Yeah.
just general sales. And then they're probably just going to recommend whatever they think they're being told they should recommend to you, but they have no idea who you are or what is best for you. So just be cautious, those that are doing it that way, that you're not
Yeah.
taking too much stock in what you're being told by the person behind the counter at a nutrition store, because you're probably not getting much better benefit than you are if you grab the bottle off the shelf anywhere else.
Yeah. And that ties into, we'll watch our time for our listeners here, but that ties into, out there, you run into a lot of times where somebody's like, oh my goodness, I just started this product and you got to try it. And it's the Miracle One product. Um, and, I don't know, just amazed me how, like, first of all, yeah, I told you, I think probably 15 or 20 vitamins a day, right? Um, there is no really one product out there that's going to do it all. I mean, it's just, so I think people have to keep that in mind. There's no bug juice from Zimbabwe or wherever that's all of a sudden gonna cure all your ailments and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of those things are dangerous, or they're fads. They
Mm.
came through, somebody found some and they find some, great help, but guess what? It's not gonna do enough, or it's not gonna do it long term. So I think you have to take a more holistic approach to your nutrition, and than just there's this one product out there. Tying into that, though, we do have other products, and it's not just ID Nutrition, which we love, but we have some other really great products that, again, no one product can fix everything, but they're great aids. And I we use, I don't know, how many products? Is there
Yeah, I
any
mean,
one
I
product you
use
haven't
none.
tried?
No, I think I pretty much tried everything for the most
Okay.
part, and
The other thing I
I
haven't tried is
love
our
everything.
kids' vitamins, which,
Well, I
with,
tried them just to try them, just to see what they were like. But
oh, were they good? I don't,
yeah, they tasted fine. I mean, better than
okay.
normal Flintstones or whatever else gummies
Okay.
are out there now.
I know they are rated like the top kids vitamin out there on the market, so it's pretty cool.
But we were talking earlier, and you mentioned another product that we both use regularly, and that kind of came up when you had mentioned what you used to take as like a breakfast drink.
Oh yes. Is there any other products you want to mention before that one? Because we could wrap
Yeah,
up with that
I
one.
think we'll go into that wrap up there. Yeah.
Okay. You sure you don't want to talk about energy, man? Because that's just a phenomenal
No, we'll save
product.
that. We'll save that for next time.
Okay, we'll save it. So yeah, I used to, and I don't know, somewhere along the line, I wanted to watch my weight, so I started drinking a product on the market called Slim Fast, right? Is that what
Mhm.
it's called? Right? Is that's still
That
on the
was
market,
very
right?
popular.
It
Probably
was.
late 80s, early 90s, mid
Yeah,
90s.
because I went the route with Special K for a while, which honestly I still love Special K cereal. I probably haven't had it in about 10 years, but for a long time I was doing Special K because remember the whole thing with, if you can pinch an inch, you're supposed to
Yeah.
start losing weight. I don't think people even think about that anymore. But I went from Special K to the Slim Fast, and I used to do Slim Fast for breakfast every morning. Problem was I got hungry right away. Now they probably changed the formula, so I don't know what Slim Fast does anymore today. But one, you got hungry right away, and the second, it really wasn't doing anything for me. But when I started with the ID Nutrition, it came in a package. Like we used to call it IDX back then, and it came with, you got your nutrition, you got our sleep strips, you got a hydrate packet, and you got our shake. And I started on our ID. What do we call it now?
Now it's nourished.
Now nourished, yes. back then I think we just called it shakes, right? So I started on their chocolate shake back then, and I started doing that for breakfast every morning. And today I still do a shake for breakfast every morning. One of the reasons is it has 2 servings of fruits and vegetables. So I know I'm starting my day not only with a protein shake that has, I don't know, like 22, 23 grams of protein in it, plus a lot of other healthy ingredients, but I know I'm getting, so I know I'm getting some protein, but I know I'm getting 2 servings of fruits and vegetables. That's a great way to kick off your day because you're getting, we're supposed to have 6 of each, right? 6 servings of fruits and 6 servings of vegetables every single day. So I know just with that breakfast shake, wow, I'm on my way, right? And once in a while, I actually do a shake later in the day. I'll do it as I'm trying to get to a point where I'm doing where I do 3 healthy meals and then 2 healthy snacks. And so some days I'll do another shake somewhere in that mix because, again, it's not a whole nother meal. It's quick, it's easy, and I can I get the nutrients. So now if I do another shake, now you're talking 4 servings of fruits and vegetables. It's 4 serving, yeah. So you're way ahead of the game at that point. Because if you have a healthy dinner, you're good.
So you're talking about the vegan one though,
So I have all 3 of them on hand. Actually, we have more than that because we have a pumpkin spice flavor, which I actually have not tasted yet. But we have the vanilla and we have a chocolate, and yes, but I do the vegan. I don't know why I got into the vegan flavor, but I did, and so I do a vegan shake.
Vegetables are in that one.
Yes, yes, they are. That's right, because the other ones don't have the fruits and vegetables.
Now, because that's the vegan. Yeah. So I also started taking the shake right when I started. Now, again, when we mentioned that they keep upgrading as much as they can based on wanting to be the best out there, they've revamped the formulation of the protein shakes, that they're not just a protein shake now. They call it Nourished, which is still a powdered shake. But now they have enough nutrients in it that it can actually be a meal replacement. So it's not just I had my protein shake, it tasted good, it got me through the morning. It now actually has enough nutritional value in it with other components that are now in it that can make it a full meal replacement. So that's a nice part about it. For me, it was the same thing. I started taking it in the mornings and really haven't looked back, and noticed a couple things. The biggest thing was I was never a big breakfast guy. Again, I like my sweets. I'll admit that. Pop-Tart, I'd grab a Pop-Tart if I could in the morning before I head out, if I even got an opportunity to do that. Or maybe a donut if it was in the house, if I had an opportunity to do that. But I rarely actually ever ate breakfast. And I knew it wasn't the greatest thing, but I just never really, if I felt like, hey, I really shouldn't eat the Pop-Tart, then I just didn't eat anything. So, for me, I didn't really eat any breakfast at all. So once I started with ID Life, all of a sudden now I'm eating breakfast. So my whole world changed because now I actually was getting some nutrition right in the morning when I never did before. And that really was a game changer for me. And I pretty much take the shake almost every morning for my breakfast. I'll throw some fruit in it. I'll use almond milk most of the time. I'll blend it with ice and it comes out like a smoothie or sometimes like a Frosty, depending on which flavor you're taking. So to me, that's been a game changer. And I would say, as we're wrapping up here, that was my mulligan when it comes down to, what's changed in my life when it comes to nutrition. That was my mulligan. Is I took a mulligan on breakfast and decided to actually start having some and having a good nutritional breakfast each day.
So I have to add one ingredient to the shake though, and then I'll share. Well, my mulligan is sort of already shared here, but so I mentioned earlier that like every once in a while you hear, not every once in a while, every you turn on the radio, it's this new juice, there's this new something, everybody should be taking this. This is going to be the wonder. It's going to help your health, and everybody starts jumping on the bandwagon. Well, not too long ago, what was that 3 or 4 years ago? These mushrooms came out. Everybody was, you got to get these mushrooms. You get on subscription. You got to be eating these mushrooms. Well, what I love about ID Life is we're always looking for stuff, and if there's legitimate science behind stuff that's good out there, we will find a way to put it into something we have, or we'll create a new product, right? And I remember being at we were at our conference, and they came out with the Nourished shake. So it was a reblend of our shake mix, and they said, and guess what? It has those mushrooms in it, right? And so everybody's eating these Pico 2 mushroom blend, and some people and one of our associates had just literally bought a month subscription for like $80. And all of a sudden I said, we put them in our shakes. And it's like, wow, like how cool is that they're always up on the newest science and what's working, and we're going to add it into something. And so they put that into the shakes, and now so you're getting another ingredient within the shake that's really healthy for you. So that's right. I love this company. So yeah, my mulligan too would be, I used to do those shakes that were terrible, and I took a mulligan and found some really good stuff. And so I love our shakes. So now I know we have one more product that we're going to have to come back to, and it is called BioAge, and it is amazing, right, Brian? I mean,
Yeah. Well, there's actually a lot of products. So we would actually love to share a little bit more about this company and the products we use, why we love them, why we'd love to share them with those of you out there. Because at the end of the day, we're really in this whole thing to help other people. I mean, that's
yeah,
really what it is all about. We found something that is great. We found something that's healthy. We found a company that really stands behind the products they create and have great values and integrity. So we like to share that with people. I mean, that's really as simple as it is. There is a business side to it, sure, but at the end of the day, we're really just trying to help people become healthier. And that's really the passion and the drive that we have for why we share this. So we would love to share some more products. So I think we will definitely come back on and talk about BioAge, which is an amazing product. And it's really cutting edge technology of things that are going on out there that people are spending lots and lots of money on. And now ID Life found a way to do it affordable and even more effective. So that's great. And then we'd love to share about some of the other stuff that we have, energy and hydrate and some of these other sleep strips that we have. So if you stay tuned, we'll come back possibly the next podcast, maybe in a couple. And we'd like to share more about the products we have. So just remember to stay healthy. Remember to be informed about what you have out there and just make good choices. And don't forget to take those mulligans.
hey, we know everyone can use a second chance or a do-over, so take a mulligan. Try again. Thanks so much for joining with us today. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Like, click, and subscribe.